1, 2, 3.
Okay, can you look at the camera? Thank you. Stinky boy. You can look at the camera. On today's episode of Free Unsolicited Cooking Knowledge, we'll be making breaded pork chops. Ichabod, you're sneaky. Welcome back, my little spoons. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I'm what? The missing ingredient to your kitchen. As you saw, today we are doing breaded pork chops, and this is actually a staple in our house throughout the winter. Usually in the summer we barbecue them, but for the winter this is a great fried baked meal. It's super delicious, kind of inexpensive. Pork chops are usually inexpensive. I'm not sure where we're gonna be in a couple of months or so, but so far so good here. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into it. Like every other recipe, all measurements and ingredients are listed down below in the description box. And to start this recipe off, we are going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Now that your oven is preheating, the first thing that we're going to do is make our pork chop breading. Also, I would like to mention that I have never actually did measurements for this stuff before, so I'm technically winging it. Usually I just mix everything by how it looks or smells or consistency, so bear with me. We are figuring out the measurements together today, but I think I pretty much have it down. So you're gonna start with a plate big enough that your entire single pork chop is gonna be able to fit on, and the first thing we're gonna need are breadcrumbs. Here we are. I like Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. You can do basic breadcrumbs. You can also do panko. I've also mixed the two. It's completely up to you. This is just kind of what I use, Italian style breadcrumbs. When I do this, I tend to just cover the entire plate. I never usually measure it out. I think we're gonna start with 2 cups of these breadcrumbs. I lied. We're gonna stick to 1 cup of breadcrumbs. That seems like enough for the amount I have. Obviously, if you're doing 6 or more pork chops, I would definitely double this. So to start, we are going to do 1 cup of Italian style breadcrumbs. I know there are already spices and things mixed in with this, but I always add extra to add that extra flavor. And the first thing that we're gonna add is a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, so we have the onion powder. I can't get my spoon in there, so. Okay, I'm gonna dump it. Oh dear. Yeah, that works, that works. Okay. 1 teaspoon of onion powder going in. Also, it's not onion salt. Some fell in there. There we go. Basically, it's gonna be a teaspoon for each of our dry ingredients, I guess. So now that we have that, the next ingredient is going to be garlic powder. Here we are, and this one's easier. It has a slot for the spoon. Again, not garlic salt. None of this has salt. I always add salt extra to it. So there we go, 1 teaspoon of that. Our next ingredient is the fresh dried parsley that I did over this summer. Click the link to the video. I feel like I had 2 full jars and we are only starting of March and I'm almost out. That's how much cooking I do with my fresh dried parsley. So same thing, 1 teaspoon going in. Oh, such a beautiful color. Next, I usually do paprika, but I don't think this is a teaspoon worth. Pretty much. We have some left over, but I'm gonna keep that so I can sprinkle that in my next recipe. And of course I have Italiano seasoning. Just add a little, you know, a little extra, but I'm just doing a couple of shakes. I never actually like add a lot of this because we do have a lot of seasoning. Same thing with salt. I'm not doing a teaspoon, probably like a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just shaking that over to cover it. Look at this, Italian hand. And of course, fresh cracked pepper. Now that we have all the spices added to the breadcrumbs, I do have 1 special ingredient that I always add to anything that I'm breading, if it's chicken, veal, pork chop, and that is MSG. Not MSG. I should be cooking with MSG. Also, in case you're wondering, MSG, it is not bad for you. I did some research on this, and MSG actually was just a way for people to be racist against Asian communities. And a lot of professional chefs cook with MSG. Anyway, I do want to learn how to incorporate it in my foods. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Now that the spices are in, we're going to be adding some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. How much I'm adding, I don't know. I want to say like a 1/4 cup, maybe less. We're gonna do a tablespoon to start. Again, like I said, I like to eye it. So that's going in. we're gonna do that because I don't want it too cheesy. It's just to add like some flavor and add some binding to your pork chop when you make it. Okay, now that that is added, I'm going to mix it. Also, I just would like to say you do not have to use any of these spices. It is completely up to you. This is just how I do it. And I find it freaking delicious, and so does Cody. And that is all for the bread coating. We're going to set that aside. So now that you have the main part of what you need for the pork chops, I'm just gonna show you the other 2 steps leading up to putting the breadcrumb base on, and that is going to be your egg wash and flour base. I'm just gonna use 1 egg. I almost shattered that in the bowl. I'm just using 1 egg because I only have 3 pork loin center cuts. If I was doing more, I would definitely start with 2 eggs. Also, I have been caught where I run out of egg wash and I just have to mix a whole new batch. So not a big deal, but this one I'm just starting with 1 large egg. And I'm breaking up that egg. And to this, I'm just adding a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, just a couple little things. And I'm gonna mix that. Now that's done, we are going to do with technically a step 1 when you're doing it is your flour base, and you could salt and pepper it, but I'm literally just putting a cup of flour on a plate. There we go. As you can see, I have 1 cup of flour. Looking at this, I could probably get away with half a cup. Maybe I'll do that so I don't waste. Hold that thought, I am taking half a cup away. We're learning together. And that is it. That is it to start this recipe. You start with the flour, then do the egg, then the breadcrumbs. God, I wish I had like a industrial sized kitchen to film these shows in. After I am done breading the pork chops, I will be putting them on this parchment paper instead of dirtying another plate. And I will show you shortly why I do that. But now that we have everything set up, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to start the breading process. So here we are, center cut pork loin. Like I said, you can do bone-in pork chops. These were just on sale. I think we literally paid like $8. Kind of expensive, but it was like the cheapest meat that was there. Anyway, so I'm going to take my first pork loin and I'm going to throw it right into the flour. This is going to dry it out. And I know this looks like it's packaged. These have been rinsed and I just put them back in, just letting you know. And I am just fully covering that little pork loin, okay, every little crevice with flour. Okay, now that your pork loin is floured up, we're going to put it in your egg mixture. In it goes. Okay, egg mixture is done and we're going right into those breadcrumbs. They're barking at the chickens. Yep, there's the rooster. Did you hear it? We're just going to coat this. We're gonna press it in as best we can. We're gonna do the sides. All right, we're just gonna shake any excess off. And then we're gonna place it down. It's okay if some breadcrumbs fall, it's completely fine. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to do the other 2 and I will show you what to do next. All right, now that that's done, this is what they look like. And the next part is what I wanted to show you. So we have our parchment paper that they are on and we're going to get another piece of parchment paper and lay that on top. And then we're going to gently use a rolling pin just to kind of get those breadcrumbs really embedded in the meat so it sticks and we get a nice crisp on the meat after we fry it. Again, it doesn't have to be rough. Perfect, now that that is done, I will show you what to do next. We have Hell's Gate, my favorite, and my $7 pan from Goodwill. Fun fact, see this pan? It has like the dark brown burn stains. This is how I found it at Goodwill. Actually, it was a lot worse. Did you know what cleans this? That's super easy and cheap. A lot of people buy that pink stuff and Barkeeper's Friend and all that like chemical crap. Do you know what cleans this? Tomato sauce. Or I guess you could use vinegar because tomatoes are, no, not vinegar. Yeah, acidic. Math, I mean science. Anyway, the other mathematical thing. I'm gonna cook with this and then I'm going to do a deep clean of my pots and pans. But yeah, I just literally buy, like I said, that Kirkland brand canned tomato sauce. I literally just use it like it's a scrubbing paste or soap. And this is chef kiss clean, brand new. If you're finding it hard to clean your pots and pans or even like baking trays, try it. It works like a dream. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so I have my pan. I'm gonna put this to a medium-high heat and I'm going to add my grapeseed oil. When I pour it into the pan, I do like 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch. So we're gonna measure this together and we're gonna see how much to actually put in the pan. My burner is not on. Okay, here's 1/2 cup. I think 3/4 of a cup will do it. Let me just double check this, right? And then the 1/4 cup, yeah. No, I think 1 full cup of grapeseed oil. Also, I use grapeseed oil because it has a high smoke point, which means you can like have it burning at a high heat without actually burning the oil. Olive oil is not a high smoke point, in case you're wondering. Hence why I'm doing grapeseed oil. So it turns out it's about 1 cup of grapeseed oil for a pan this big. Anything smaller, cut it in half. You just want like a good layer on the bottom of your pan. We're gonna go ahead and turn this on, medium high. Basically, we wanna get this to a point so when you put the meat in, it simmers as you're adding it to the oil. I'm just gonna let that warm up, so BRB. Okay, we are preheated and I'm gonna show you how I know that. I have like my wet hand and I'm just, as soon as you put like the odd drop of water in there, it sizzles. So it is ready. I might drop it down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to place the 3 of these in there slowly. Be very careful. Beautiful. Okay, also as this is cooking on that side, I have a tinfoil lined tray. I use a cookie rack. I put that on there. So after this is done cooking, I put it on here and any of the fat and extra oil just drops down. And I do the tinfoil lined tray so that it's easy to clean, but also the reflective aspect of the tinfoil reflects heat back in and it cooks the pork chop evenly. Another ingredient we're gonna have to add to this is butter. It could be salted or non-salted. You know what time it is. Land O'Lakes time, as usual. So this is salted butter. I'm just opening this up because we're gonna need a couple of tablespoons here. As you can see, the golden brown is starting to creep up the sides. It's starting to really absorb that oil. That's how you know it's almost ready to be flipped over. Oh, it smells delicious. It smells like my grandma's cooking. It smells like her house. Okay. Personally, I think we're ready to turn it over, so I'm going to do that. Gently, of course. And now that it is flipped over, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of butter to this. And I never said this was a healthy recipe, but it is delicious and it is very comforting for the winter. Kind of shake it up, get it all mixed. And of course, now that we flipped it, it cooks a lot faster. Those chickens piss me off. And they piss the dogs off, and I don't like living like this, so. Maybe next episode I'll be cooking chicken. And I have not adjusted the heat whatsoever. This is slowly cooking. It's getting that nice deep golden brown. We're gonna flip it one more time so the top side can get that butter as well. Then I'll transfer them to the tray, and then we'll put it in the oven. All right, we're gonna give it a little flip, gently. Get that bottom side to get some of that butter. And I'm just gonna turn this off. I'm gonna let it sit like that for about 30 seconds and then I'm gonna transfer this to our tray. And I'm doing one more flip to get that beautiful butter oil on these. So I have put them on the tray. This is what they look like. Not overcooked, a nice golden brown. And looking at this oil, I realized that I could have gotten away with 1/2 cup maybe, but I'm so used to cooking like 6 to 9 of these for the family that I would use all this. Anyway, now that they're on my tray, I'm going to put them in the oven for about 10 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, I'm going to check with the greatest tool ever given to anyone in the cooking industry, and that is a meat thermometer. So at 5 minutes, I'll check the center, see if it's above 165 degrees. If not, they'll go back in for another 5 minutes because I don't want to overcook it and make it really dry and like just not really appetizing. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then we'll be right back. So I have pulled them out of the oven. Cody was the one checking the temperature. They are at 170, so that's the good news after 5 minutes. But the bad news is Cody has ruined one. So that's gonna be Cody's. Anyway, so they are done. I'm gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes and then it's going to be TTT, taste test time. Okay, here they are. Quick little close up of what they look like. They are juicy, they smell delicious. Can you hear that? How crispy they are? Okay. All right, I'm gonna do a little TTT here. Just juicy. They are perfect. Ah, smells so good. Okay, here we go. So good. It is just such a comforting flavor. These go really freaking well with like mashed potatoes, salad, corn, like, you know, midwinter meal. It is just delicious. Maybe you should eat the one you ruined.
I will.
There you go. I was just kidding. You didn't have to eat the one that you ruined. Oh, you're eating the whole thing.
I'll eat all three.
No, that's possibly my dinner.
It's soul food, you know?
It's true. Very soul food-esque. Oh, wow. You see? Clean Plate Club / this will be dinner or lunch, so. This is Poe. He's only here because he's hungry because it's his dinner time. Bro, chill. He's actually a sweetheart. I don't think he likes to be on camera. There you go. Goodbye. Thank you, my little spoons, for lasting this long in the video. I hope I inspire you to try this dish. You don't have to do all the spices I do. It's just how I do it. You don't have to do it that way. I just suggest you do it that way because it is amazing. It's flavorful. It's juicy. Maybe not the healthiest way to prepare this meat, but who cares? It's the dead of winter. And you know, when you're looking for good comfort soul food, this is what I think of. Very nostalgic for me. Anyway, thank you, my little spoons. And you know what? Pork chops. See ya.
Bye.